Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, and welcome to another John Campea Show Mailbag. I'm, of course, as John calls me, your existential Mr. Rogers, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I have with me, I can't believe it, 2 times in a row, Mr. John Campea.
No, technically, you did one the other day without me, so it's not 2 times in a row. But this is 2 out of 3
In the studio.
in studio.
In studio.
Yes, in
2
studio.
times in a row in the studio. That's true. I did one on my own, but the last time I did Mailbag here was right with you.
With me,
Very
yes.
exciting. I thought, I have to say, it was a great vibe between us for the Mailbag. A lot of fun.
It's fun. It's great when we have time to actually do the mailbags together. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I should say that obviously during the John Campea Show live, you can send in your super chats and we read them right on the show. But 24/7, 7 days a week, you can send us a tip. You can give us a comment. You can give us a review. You can tell us what you think of Ray. And all you have to do is follow that link right down below. And we, if we deem your comments worthy, valuable, or appropriate, so I'm waiting for the inappropriate mailbag, but that'll come later. We will answer them right here on the mailbag. And we're going to do that right now. And let's see, who are we going to start with? Shook Nasty. All right. Let's get us off in the right track. Kenobi Spoilers. Can we have?
Oh, yeah, it's been a couple days since the episode
Kenobi
came out.
Spoilers. I'm calling it now. Episode 4 will be a flashback episode. While he recovers in a back-to-tank, we'll finally get to see Hayden as Anakin. Shook Nasty. I hope so. John and I have been talking about this. I think Hayden Christensen probably took the part because he knew he was going to be able to do it as Anakin at some point. What do you think, John?
I mean, well, we've been saying for a while we think there's going to be a flashback episode, right? So that makes sense. And I think Hayden Christensen would have taken it whether he got to be
Right, yeah,
full facial or not. But what's the point in bringing back Hayden Christensen if you're not going to get an episode with him doing that? So I don't know if he has you remember in Clone Wars, Yoda could have force projection conversations with people. Maybe we're going to see Anakin Vader force project himself to have a conversation with Obi-Wan at some point. Maybe that's how we'll see Hayden in his full regular thing. I don't know. A lot of possibilities.
That's interesting.
But I do like his theory. I think probably because they did it with Boba Fett too. A lot of visions while in a back-to-tank.
Yep.
Maybe they'll do that again here.
Interesting. I like that idea. Charles Lai says, hey, John and Rob, and you got us both. Saw Top Gun 2 and remembered a forgotten and underrated film from 1983, Blue Thunder.
Is that the Roy Schneider one?
Yes, it is. Directed by John Badham. He directed War Games and Blue Thunder in the same year. It has incredible aerial stunt work over the streets of LA with actors actually in the cockpit. Why did it take 40 years to do something similar? Have you seen it? I love Blue Thunder. Daniel Stern and Roy Scheider, and of course, Malcolm McDowell is the villain.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Catch you later. But they've got some really incredible helicopter stunts like around the LA River.
Yeah.
And there's a scene at the end where they call in like these F-16 fighter jets and they're going in and around LA firing missiles that go right into the side of buildings. It's the most bananas. And then at one point, Roy Scheider positions the Blue Thunder above a barbecue stand so the missile will come and
to the heat.
Yeah, and I have to say, Candy Clark's in that movie's really good. If you go back and look at it now, because it's kind of the transition point, even though it's 83, between the 70s conspiracy thriller and the 80s action movie.
Right.
And it holds up. I mean, some of the effects are sketchy. But if you go back and you watch it and you realize that, okay, sometimes you can't get F-16s flying in through buildings in LA. That's not something they're going to do, but it's pretty good.
Like one of the things about Blue Thunder too, I remember I wasn't even a teenager when that thing came out, but it was all the technology in the Blue Thunder was technology that theoretically existed already at the time. That was a big thing. Now, of course, that then became the big thing. If you're a helicopter guy, what's better, Blue Thunder or Airwolf, right? And of course, Airwolf was a little bit more sci-fi than Blue Thunder was. But yeah, I still remember that where the pilot would turn his head and the guns would go, and you're like, this is the coolest thing.
That's exactly what and the big. It's funny. I miss movies like that. Just mid-level action thrillers, but that has a great cast. It's got a great plot. And it's got some of those LA newscasters that appeared like they played themselves in every movie, all the way up to
which is what they still do today. They do that today.
I know, it's great. Big Blue Thunder fan right here. Ricky sends in a $100 tip.
Thank you, Ricky.
1 of 5. Ricky, you're the man. Dear John Campea Show crew, there's so much I'd love to say to each of you, but I don't want to take up too much valuable show time, so I'll attempt to keep it brief. I just want to say thank you. In my sophomore year of high school, I first came across the John Campea Show 2 months before a pandemic would change the world. Since then, I've listened to you every single day. I've always been fascinated by movies, and your show has not only cultivated that love, but taught me ways to appreciate fandom and film culture. Your show has gotten me through a lot and has been one constant source of happiness. My dream is to one day be a working actor, producer, storyteller, whatever. All I know is I love this industry and I desperately want to be a part of it. I'm so excited to share with you that I graduated high school a little over a week ago, and this upcoming fall semester, I will be attending NYU Tisch School of the Arts as an acting major. Let me just stop and say, congratulations. That is a very prestigious school, and you should be damn proud of yourself. Your show has played a massive role in the trajectory of my life, and I thank each of you, from Ray to Rob, Chris to Aaron, and of course, producer Jonathan. I will be a lifelong fan and look forward to your show every day. All the best. John, I'm going to throw that to you.
Look, the best messages we ever get around here are the people who then share with us how we've got to be a part of their journey with them. And so first of all, thank you for the message very, very much. That means a lot to us. It means so much to know that just doing what all of us do, like just having conversations about these things we love, can have such a positive impact on me every day. Like seriously, you don't get it. I look forward to coming to work every day because just talking about these things, talking about the things we love, that just makes me feel good. It just gives me a clear vision for what I'm doing. It just makes the world seem like a better place. The fact that you've been along on this journey with us for so long, the fact that you're actually pursuing, everybody says they want to do this and want to do that. Not everybody actually does something to actively pursue it and do it, and you did, and that's inspiring to hear, so thank you for sharing that. And Rob, you and I have talked about these kinds of messages before that he just sent in, and these mean a lot to us.
I think they're the best. I mean, the idea that people take inspiration from what we're doing to do something on their own, to take... I feel that that's sort of an obligation that we all have as people. If you're inspired by others, that you somehow, if you can take that and plus yourself by doing things like, look, going to the Tisch School of the Arts is a great accomplishment.
And not everybody can get in.
No, and I was going to say you had to do work to get in there, and that's amazing. But I have to say, with John, one of the things you've always done is John has always made this show, he's always trying to improve the show. And I have to say, I once hosted a panel that you did at San Diego Comic-Con,
right,
about what equipment you should use. How do you make your own show better for your viewers? I mean, I still think about that and what I learned on that panel. And another thing that you did, John talked about when we were first streaming. He's like, I want to make a movie about movie trailers. I want to do a documentary about movie trailers. Well, one day you said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And literally within like 3 months, it was shot. And Jonathan and John were editing it, finishing it, and then it got done. What did it take, 6 months? How long were you in production of the whole thing?
Jonathan, what? Yeah. Probably about 6-7 months all together, yeah.
You know how many people I've met in Hollywood that talk about making movies and never do it? Not only did you talk about it and do it, but you got it done within a very short period of time, and it's up on Amazon, and you can watch it. And I think that is something that not a lot of people have. So you wrote a novel. You made a feature. You've done all those things, and I think that's the way people should live their lives. Make stuff and do it.
And like the whole idea about like these steps too, it's all about starting that process, right? Just becoming a person who transitions from being somebody who talks about what they want to do and actually does the things they need to do. And by you doing that, you're like going to NYU for that. That is a huge thing. And like Rob was pointing out, that means you already did work.
Yeah.
So that means this step you're taking, you've already done several other steps. And that's the type of person that will generally find a lot more satisfaction in life. So good on you for doing that. And again, thank you for sharing those thoughts, man. That means a lot to us.
Well done. Let's see. Christ George says, now that Johnny Depp has won, do you think he will get offered movie roles? Well, we talked about that extensively today, but since you asked, John, what do you think?
Well, yeah, on the John Campea Show earlier today, we talked about the fact that I do not think this, there's two different phrases, restore or revive. Will this restore his career? No. What also came out in the trial was the fact that his career was on the decline before all of this stuff happened anyway. Is Disney suddenly going to put him back in Pirates of the Caribbean again? No. But to be frank, from what we've also learned from a lot of stuff, they probably weren't going to do another Pirates of the Caribbean movie with him anyway, even if all the stuff with Amber Heard hadn't happened. Is he going to suddenly pop back up in the Harry Potter franchise? No. But could he be revived? Like, could he get an entryway back into the movies again? And I do think that can happen. And I think it will happen at a certain point. I mean, maybe not to the degree that some people want, but I think it will. And I think he'll get a chance.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he's already had such an illustrious career all the way back to, I mean, he was in Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984.
Yep.
So it's not like he's some person that doesn't have a huge career behind him. So I think he's absolutely going to continue on. And somebody said today that he should become a character actor. He's kind of always been a character actor.
He's just been a lead as a character
even
actor.
Jack Sparrow is a character. So I think definitely Johnny Depp will bounce back. Disney Gifts by Bryce says, Amigos, I love the show. I watched it at home so much that I've almost annoyed my wife into being a fan anyway.
It is crazy how often we hear stuff like that, actually.
So, we know that John loves Discovery and their shows. So which show would Remy the Rat from Ratatouille be better on? Cutthroat Kitchen or Chopped?
Chopped. If you watch, like, Ratatouille's big strength is improvisation. Anything's in front of him, that's a Chopped thing. He would definitely thrive. Remy would definitely thrive on Chopped.
I have solid reasoning from you.
Absolutely. Chopped
I will definitely go with you on Chopped. Jessica Quintel sends in a tip and says, hey, John and crew, I don't know if you've already addressed this on the show, but the Depp versus Heard verdict came in on Wednesday and Johnny Depp basically won. What do you think of the verdict, and what do you think will happen in their careers after? Well, great minds think alike. Jessica, bring on the filthy. We talked about this today and just talked about it now, but I look, like we were just saying, I think Johnny Depp has a long career still ahead of him. And, you know, I always joke about, it's not a joke, I'm being totally serious. I love The Ninth Gate. Not a very big budget movie, but I like it. If Johnny Depp only made movies like The Ninth Gate for the rest of his career, I certainly would be happy with that. I'd watch them all.
It's going to be interesting to see how it does unravel, because like we said, Johnny Depp's career was already in decline. Right. So the question we can even ask today is, had the Amber Heard situation never happened, where would his career be right now? He wouldn't have been in another Pirates of the Caribbean movie anyway.
Right.
So what would happen with that? So, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. And look, I know everybody hates it when I bring it up, but it is the truth. Despite what a jury in this case said, and it was a win. I mean, yeah, Amber won her countersuit, but she only got $2 million. The jury gave Johnny $10 million. He wins 10-2. He wins. But the reality is too, and this is going to be something that's going to have to be addressed. Despite the results of this court thing, there was another court case and another court proceedings where the court in that case ruled that Johnny Depp was a wife beater. That's what they said. They said the allegations in this case are substantively true. You are a wife beater. And so he still has that. The American case doesn't make that go away. And that is going to be not a roadblock for Johnny Depp getting that career revived again, working again. It's going to become an obstacle, not a roadblock, a bit of an obstacle, because that's still going to be a problem.
Right.
But I still believe, because I said before the trial started, I said, if Johnny Depp can find a way to win this trial, and he did win, I believe he will get another shot. Again, I don't think he'll ever be as big of a star as he used to be, but can he be a working actor in Hollywood again? It's not a guarantee, but I think he can. I think he can.
I think he can too. I mean, look, the things, I think the trial showed clearly he has his own personal demons, like many actors or many people.
Sure, but we knew that before the trial too,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. You knew that, but I think people clean up their lives.
Look at Robert Downey Jr.
100%.
Right?
And reached pinnacles of success he had never reached before.
Yeah.
I mean, with the MCU, and that's a really good example. And he was more messed up than Johnny Depp was, waking up in other people's...
After reading that Time article, I don't know if he was more messed up than Johnny Depp was, but he was pretty... I mean, listen, Robert Downey Jr. was a guy who sabotaged his own career not once, but twice. A lot of people forget this. He was a star on the rise, and everything went to hell because of his substance abuse problems.
Mm-hmm.
Then he started to make a comeback. Do you remember this? They gave him that role on Ally McBeal.
Yep.
Which was one of the hottest shows on TV at the time. He was doing really well, and then all of a sudden, poof, he disappeared because, again, he started showing up to thing intoxicated and under the influence and stuff like that. So he sunk his career again. And that's why when Jon Favreau wanted to use him as Iron Man, it's understandable. A lot of people at the studio were, wait, who do you want to use? And they did. But if he did, like he fell down twice and got back up. So if he can do it, it doesn't mean Johnny Depp will or anybody else will, but it means you can. And if he can do it, why can't Depp do it?
I completely agree.
All right, what's next?
Jonathan Nemella says, hello, John and crew. I love these letters. I saw Morbius. It was awesome. I love every bit of it. Morbius was very comic accurate. I hope they make sequels. I love all the special effects. I can't wait to get Morbius on 4K Blu-ray. I hope Blade and Morbius cross over soon. Bring on the filthy. Well, Jonathan, first of all, I love that you love Morbius. I don't know if we're going to see a sequel, and I don't think he's going to cross over with Blade.
No, unfortunately, no. And I say unfortunately because it was one of my least top 5 most anticipated films of the year.
Too, man.
I was very excited about that movie. And like Rob said, I love that you love it. I wish I loved it.
Right.
I do not.
We both wanted to love it.
Oh, we were so excited for this movie. It didn't work out for us, but you know what? The main thing is, that's the great thing about movies, man. They are subjective. We each experience them in our own unique way. And for you, your experience was super awesome. And that's great. We celebrate that. We don't share it, but we celebrate it. So that's good. And hopefully for all of our sakes, maybe they will make another one at some point. All right, what's next?
Who knows? Freddy Krueger. Oh, man. Freddy Krueger's having a resurgence because of Stranger Things. If you see it, you'll figure it out. Hi. I'm at a career crossroads as I no longer provide Elm Street kids with their worst experience, even involving a bed. Any advice for a midlife career slump? Is my horror legacy ruined? Okay, if you dream, I'll get you, blah, blah, blah. It's over, isn't it? Well, Freddie, you know what? I think there comes a time, even in a spectral killer from people's dreams, you have to reassess your career, your choices, and you have to decide, look, you've got a long life, maybe eternal life in front of you. And I think that what you really need to do is reassess. I mean, think about the great power you wield. You can jump into people's dreams, and rather than kill them, what if you had the power to make their dreams come true? You have a unique insight. And imagine the help you could provide to so many of us that need it. So rather than, take people out, maybe, just maybe, you could make their lives better. What do you think, John?
There's something you brought up there. It's like, his horror legacy ruined? No, but it's over. And there is a difference. Like, look at Joe Montana. Joe Montana's career is over. His time as a quarterback in the NFL is done. A bow has been put on it. His career isn't ruined just because it's over. It's just over. Freddy Krueger is over. They did try to do a reboot of it. Obviously did not go well. I think it's just time that we move on from Freddy Krueger. It's done. Tout fini, but that doesn't mean the legacy of it is ruined. Look, we talked about it like just recently. It's like, how great was Freddy Krueger? Johnny Depp was in the Nightmare. I mean, it was great, and its legacy is perfectly fine and intact, but it's over.
And I mean, I seem to think that I recently saw Freddy Krueger on TV on a big franchise property.
You're talking about Robert Englund?
Freddy Krueger. Yeah. He plays Freddy Krueger. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Oh, sorry. Like I thought you meant they actually used Freddy Krueger.
No, but they did talk
okay.
about him. They talked. Yeah. But Freddy, I think that there's always a second chance in life. You just have to reach out and take it, preferably without
The
knives on your fingers. Jonathan Namella sends in a tip and says, "Hello, John. I now know that you are a wrestling fan. Now.
Not now. I used to be.
I just met The Undertaker,
Wow.
Alex Bliss, Kevin Owens at MegaCon 22.
Good Canadian kid, Kevin Owens.
I have my WWE, is that Eagle?
Yep.
Eagle belt signed by Undertaker, Kevin Owens, Alexa Bliss. Do you still watch? Do you watch AEW or WWE? Did you meet any wrestlers?
Yeah, I've met a lot of wrestlers, but when I was younger. I don't really follow wrestling anymore. Like, my wife Ann still gets a big kick out of wrestling sometimes, and so I'll watch WrestleMania every year. I'll watch WrestleMania, the odd time when like Kaori comes over because Kaori's really into wrestling and Ann's friend Kaori, and they'll put on an AEW or an NXT or W, and I'll watch. But I'd say maybe 5 times a year I'll be in my living room watching wrestling. I don't follow nearly as much as I used to. But from what little I've seen of AEW, it looks like a really good product, and yeah, all the best to them.
All right, then. I don't know anything about wrestling. Jonathan Namella says, "Hello, Rob. I want to collect all the classic Hollywood movies on 4K Blu-ray from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Where should I start? 20s or 30s? What movies should I have on my radar that are classic? What strange titles do you suggest, Jonathan?"
You're not going to find a lot of 4K Blu-rays of 20s films.
No, you really aren't. Jonathan, first of all, that is a whole show unto itself. But I will say, look, you're in luck because there's more. I just got The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance on.
It's one of my dad's favorite films.
It just came out from Paramount on 4K. Couldn't believe it. And so I think now with stuff like the Columbia Classics, they put out box sets of like 10 movies on 4K that hadn't been on 4K before, like Lawrence of Arabia. Look, I don't know. Like you said, there's not a lot of movies in the 20s where you're not going to see a lot of things on 4K. Maybe something like Fritz Lang's Metropolis. But really, I always tell people the AFI's 100 greatest films list. That is always where I tell people to start because that has a wide spectrum of films from all of cinematic history. And that's a place that I would go. It's a pretty good bet that everything on that list is great. And yeah, there's never been a better time to collect movies in 4K. But do your research because not all 4K transfers are as good as they should be. So do your research. And by the way, thanks for being a physical media collector. Yeah. Jerome comes back and says, "What is the right or wrong way to talk about diversity in a review of movies, TV shows, media? And I personally feel that if people are going to criticize diversity, they should be fair and also criticize the lack of diversity in most other stories." I know that's a good question. I mean, I like stories that reflect life, the world that we live in. And I think now more than ever, we're seeing people from all walks of life, actors from all walks of life in films. And for me, I'm Mr. Verisimilitude. And I think great stories are served by being as realistic as possible and reflecting the very diverse world that we live in. And, the more people, and we're getting more filmmakers. One of the things I love is we're now getting filmmakers. A lot of them didn't have voices before. And if I can get a story that's told by somebody that has a story to tell or about where they're from or something about their walk of life or what happened that I've never heard before, I'm all for it. And I think we're getting more of that than ever, which means I think we're just going to be getting better movies, better stories, better tales to tell. I mean, who would have thought a movie like Moonlight would have won Best Picture 25 years ago? I don't think it would have. I think the fact that it can and did means we live in a better world now than we did 25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, and there's two different things here, right? There's the issue of diversity in the movies, and there's the issue of reviewing movies in relation to their diversity. I would say this. In reviewing a movie, I really don't care because in reviewing a movie, that's not an issue to me. My issue is character, story, plot, all that kind of stuff. As a just regular movie viewer, though, Rob, you were just pointing this out, that the more the movies reflect the world we live in, like the real world we live in. I know there are some people who want to live in a make-believe world where everybody is straight and white. I get that. And for a long time, the reality is for a long time, for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, there was a very active, strong agenda of exclusion.
Yep.
There was a very active, forceful agenda in Hollywood of exclusion to keep everybody else out. And the reality is today, some people say, well, there's a diversity agenda. No, there's really not. What we're seeing today is the deconstruction and the dismantling of the exclusion agenda. There's a movement today to stop that agenda of exclusion we've had for so long. And the result of that is just getting, again, as Rob was pointing out, you're getting now movies that look more like the actual world we live in, the real stories that get told. As far as how we review, I never criticize a movie for a lack of diversity in it. I never praise a movie because it has diversity in it. I certainly notice it as a viewer, though. So I don't know. That's just where I kind of leave that.
Too. And I also think, like, I remember I was at a film festival and I saw Spike Lee's first feature, She's Gotta Have It. Which was the story of a black woman negotiating her dating life and what was going on. Had totally out of my realm of experience. Certainly, I didn't know anyone like her. And when I watched it, I was knocked out by it. I mean, you could tell right away. This was a very low budget movie, but it was a new emerging. I mean, Spike Lee wasn't Spike Lee then. It was his first film. And I remember watching this going, when it was over, I'm like, man, I don't know if I ever would have consciously sought out this kind of a story, but I thought I was a better person for seeing it. First of all, it was hilarious and it was so beautifully done. And I was like, this is why I go to movies, is to see unexpected things and unexpected stories about people that I don't know. Like this idea that we just want to see ourselves reflected back on us. I think we're doing ourselves a great disservice. That's why I love foreign movies. I love movies from all over the world. I'm like, I don't know anything about, like, I remember watching the Apu trilogy from India that Sahaji Ray directed. Totally out of my realm of experience. Didn't know anything about what it was like to grow up in India. Those films are classics. The trilogy is amazing, and I felt better having seen it. And I think to review films, great stories well told are universal and worldwide.
Great stories well told. I like that.
Jerome says, was that the same thing? Okay. So Cody Hunt Film says, are you all going to do a movie club next week for the original Jurassic Park? I need it, John.
No, we're not. But we are doing finally part 3 of our Lord of the Rings movie club. We did Fellowship of the Ring. We did Two Towers, and through every single, we've had a number of things happen the last few weeks, but we are now back up and running, and we will be doing Return of the King this week.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it on Tuesday.
I can't wait.
Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Athletic Greens. Now, when you get really busy, and you guys know that Ann and I are really busy, one of the first things that you sacrifice is eating healthy. And I simply have never eaten enough vegetables in my diet, I admit it. So for a long time, I've been looking for a really good all-in-one supplement that helps me get those nutrients and vitamins that my body needs. And thank goodness I found Athletic Greens AG1. So what is Athletic Greens AG1? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. And for me and Ann, it's easy. We get up in the morning, we pour a big glass of water and add 1 scoop of AG1. So many people today are taking some kind of multivitamin, and it's important to choose one with high quality ingredients that your body will actually absorb. And it's cheaper than getting all those different supplements yourself. And on top of giving you all those vitamins and nutrients, it also supports better sleep and quality of recovery, and supports mental clarity and alertness. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/mailbag. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/mailbag to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
And thank you to our sponsor, Athletic Greens. John, he told me he doesn't eat much vegetables, neither do I. Athletic Greens. I'm telling you, the more I eat, the better I feel. What can I say? Or drink, I should say. Cody on Film says, I'm so excited for Jurassic World Dominion. The Lost World Jurassic Park was the first movie I ever saw in the theater when I was 5. By the way, how great was that then? When you're 5 years old, there's nothing better than dinosaurs eating people or running around San Diego. That must have been the greatest thing you'd ever seen. After discovering that the dinosaurs in the film weren't real, it sparked my curiosity in the arts and the reason why I became a filmmaker. Cody Hunt, I love hearing that. When I was 5, I saw George Pal's, directed by Byron Haskin, War of the Worlds from 1953. That movie sparked my lifelong interest in films and made me want to make movies. So you were at the right age at the right time, and you got to see some great special effects. John, what was it for you?
Oh, it was Star Wars. That's my earliest childhood memory is Star Wars, and I didn't have another memory till after that, and it made me develop this lifelong love affair with movies.
Still, I mean, it seems like it goes without saying now, but when you actually go back and you watch the original Star Wars, it is a great movie.
I still believe they're the greatest movies ever made.
I mean,
really
just a great, the world building, everything about it, the verisimilitude, changed my life. That movie did. Ben B sends in a $50
Wow,
tip.
thank you, Ben.
B. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in this way. Hey, John and Robin, you got both of us. I love the show. It brings so much joy to my life. Having an outlet to talk movies is amazing. My favorite Marvel characters and group is the Fantastic Four. What are some things you hope to see them do right in the upcoming MCU version of the Fantastic Four? Bring on the filthy. I have an answer to this. The thing that I want most is I want them to put together 4 actors that I believe are the Fantastic Four. It's not that they haven't had good actors, but I've never believed that all 4 of the actors they've gathered together are actually the Fantastic Four. They like Jessica Biel.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful actresses in the history of Hollywood.
And a good actress.
Yeah.
I did not for a minute believe she was Sue Storm.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I want to see a group where I look at them and go, boom. For whatever reason, in the Avengers 2012, that spinning shot, the famous shot where I look at those people, I'm like, those are the Avengers.
Yeah.
You believe that those people, Chris Hemsworth, he's Thor. Chris Evans, that's Captain America. Robert Downey Jr., that's Tony Stark. I believe them. I never have believed the actors that have been.
And you know what I think the problem is? It isn't the actors. The problem is the chemistry between the actors they've gotten.
Yes.
Because, I think Jessica Biel could have come across as a great, what's that?
Oh, did I say
Sorry,
Biel?
Alba. Sorry, you're right. It's not Jessica Biel. Not
Biel.
Mrs. Timberlake. Sorry. Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba could have made a great Sue Storm if there was another actor playing Reed Richards that had that chemistry that I believe that this is the first couple of Marvel.
Yes.
What's the guy's name? Ion Garfold, or I've never been able to pronounce his name. He's actually good. He's a good actor, but if they had somebody else playing Sue Storm that he had a better chemistry with, I maybe could have bought. There's a reason Michael Chiklis is so great in that movie, because he felt like Ben Grimm, everything about it, Ben Grimm. Chris Evans, not bad as that. Then you move into, like, Miles Teller is a great actor.
He is a great actor.
But I felt no chemistry between him and Kate Mara, who is a great actress. There was no chemistry there. I actually really like the idea of changing up the story a little bit where Johnny Storm and Sue Storm were actually adopted brother and sister. Love that. But I felt no sibling chemistry between them whatsoever. So it's really not so much the actors. All those actors could have worked if there was a chemistry there.
Yeah, I mean, what I meant was exactly what you're saying.
Right.
I mean, I misspoke. It was a chemistry issue. I never believed them as the team.
Yeah.
And I think that's and one of the great things about the MCU is their casting. For the most part, they hit it out of the park almost all the time. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for.
I agree.
When Chad Boseman walked on the screen as T'Challa in Winter Soldier, in Civil War, I'm like, that guy's Black Panther.
Yeah.
From the minute he walked on screen, it was, and that's what I want from the Fantastic Four. TK421, why aren't you at your post? You're writing into this show. TK421, hey, John or Rob, I was thinking of starting to read the Star Wars novels, but since there are so many, I don't know where to begin. What's a good jumping in point for the novels? That's a good question. Look, you know what I would start with, even though it's not the first? I think the Thrawn trilogy, the Heir to the Empire trilogy, because in 1991, they sort of brought Star Wars back. There was the Dark Empire comics that are great, and there was the Heir to the Empire trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote. And as a matter of fact, I would read both of those things. If you haven't read the comics either, those are great together in tandem, are really good.
I would go a little different on that. I would say if you're a Star Wars fan and you've never read any of the novels, I would start with the new era of novels simply because they are loosely considered canon.
Yeah.
And here's the one. If you're a Star Wars fan that's never started yet, here's your best one to start with. Claudia Gray's Lost Stars. The reason this is a great starting point is, number one, it's a really good story. But more importantly, as a Star Wars fan who's never read a novel, it covers the original 3 movies. It covers Star Wars, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. Basically what it is this. It tells a story of this guy and a girl from when they were children. And as they grow up, so they're children in the Star Wars era, they're in their teens and starting to become adults in the Empire Strikes Back era, and then they're full adults in the Return of the Jedi era. But one joins the Empire, one joins the Rebellion, and their connection to each other, and looking at the events, it looks at the events of the original Star Wars trilogy from their individual 2 perspectives. It's wonderful. So if you're a Star Wars fan, never read a novel, this is a great starting point because it gives you the movies you know as the background. It's wonderfully written. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I would recommend maybe giving that one as your starting
All right. Good answer.
What's next?
Raiden X says, just rewatched The Prestige yesterday. Oh, it's so good. What an amazing movie. One of Nolan's best, in my opinion. Also, I pre-ordered the Carnage hot toy from Venom 2.
Nice.
Can't wait, even though I'll get it in 2023. Yeah, that's a problem with hot toys. You have to wait 18 months. That Carnage figure is awesome. Now, do you have Venom? You gotta. It's
you
great.
got to have side by side by Venom.
They're big. It's that Carnage figure is great. Yeah, I mean, the Prestige. Would you want to borrow my Prestige 4K disc? Because you can watch it on your PlayStation.
Here's the thing. The Prestige, for 95% of the movie, is so good.
So good.
It's so good. The ending is so bad.
You mean the revelation?
The big reveal. I'm like, really? It's kind of like the same feeling you have watching Lost. You watch the whole thing and then you kind of get to the last chapter of it and you're like, really? That's what this was all about?
That's a good analogy.
But don't get me wrong, the ending doesn't ruin the rest of the movie. But if it wasn't for the ending and the reveal at the ending with Hugh Jackman, it would be a top 3 Nolan film for me. I still really like it. I like it a lot, but that ending bugs me.
It's funny to me. Like I love that movie, but like you get to the end, you're like, wait, what? And I feel it's a cheat. I feel like you've now swerved into, because you're following this and it's intriguing and the characters are great and the actors are great and you're getting to this point and then it just cheats.
Because at that point, every trick through the movie, they reveal how they did it.
Yeah.
Right? Like even with the wait a minute, how was Christian Bale there and over there? Like but it's always a grounded, real. That's how they did it. And then, like you said, they get to the end reveal, the true prestige of the film, and it is such a left turn. That's like, wait a minute, this is so out of step with everything else in the movie. Whatever.
I know it's based on a book, but still.
It's still a great movie.
It is a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's just that ending really hinders me a bit.
It's true. Jonathan Namella sends in a tip and says, hi, John and Rob. With the new She-Hulk series coming out soon, will Marvel make a new Hulk solo movie? With the hype we have yet to get, the Hulk movie with Ruffalo. I want a She-Hulk movie now as well, and a She-Hulk Hulk team-up movie. Bring on the filthy. I don't know that they can. I mean, they'd have to do it through Universal to do a full.
So here's the problem. Marvel has always been able to do a Hulk movie if they want. Marvel has the production rights to make a Hulk movie. The problem is that there are 2 sets of rights for any movie. There are the production rights, which means you have the right to make that movie. But then there's a second set of rights called the distribution rights, which means once a movie is made, who decides what to do with it? Who takes it then and then puts it out in streaming home theaters, the movie theaters, whatever. And the problem with Hulk is that Universal holds the distribution rights to Hulk. This is why you've seen Hulk in a lot of MCU movies, but you've never seen a Hulk movie, because if Marvel makes a Hulk movie, they have to give up the distribution rights and Universal gets to distribute it, and Marvel's not interested in doing that. Now, they made a kind of an exception with the Spider-Man character because that was the only way they could get
Well,
the
they
rights
did do
to have
the
Spider-Man.
Incredible Hulk, the Ed Norton version.
Yes, but now the Marvel's doing it a totally different way now, right?
Yeah.
So until that, and Mark Ruffalo was lamenting this in the press a year or two ago. It's like, come on, Universal, just give it back, give it to me, give us the distribution rights back. And Universal's like, no, why would we do that? So they can make it if they want. Just don't hold your breath. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, which is too bad. I mean, there's a couple of Hulk stories I'd love to see turned into movies, but
dude, I don't know how you do it in the current MCU. Maybe you just have to make it an Elseworld thing. Who doesn't want to see World War Hulk?
I know that I would love that. And yeah, I mean, that would be great.
Yep, but they're not going to do it.
Although they could make World War Hulk within the context of the MCU. They just wouldn't. They couldn't call it.
But
World
you'd
War
need
Hulk.
Everybody in that. That would be like the most expensive Marvel movie ever made. Yeah.
Ever.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. Nerdy Teacher says, I don't think my comments got.
Jonathan?
Oh.
No, up. Yep, that one.
Yep. Oh, it's okay. Different one. Okay. Jonathan Namella goes on to say, hello, John Rob. I recently just bought the Hulk Ultimate Movie and TV Show Collection on DVD. I love the Hulk movie, but the better movie was The Incredible Hulk. It pays so much respect to the TV show. The Incredible Hulk show was moving. Hulk smash.
Now, which I
Bring on
feel
the
bad
filthy.
because I was in one of them. Which movie is the Ed Norton one, and which movie is
Just Hulk is Ong Lee's movie.
that? Okay, that's
And
not
The Incredible Hulk, which is an MCU movie with Thunderbolt Ross and the Abomination, that was the
right. And that's the one that I was.
Yeah,
in.
that's the one you're in.
So yes, that was the better Hulk movie. Just because I was in it. Listen, the original TV show. This is you brought this up the other day, where it's like in the eternal argument about should you use practical effects or digital. It's like nobody wants to go back to the Lou Ferrigno. I mean, God bless Lou Ferrigno. We could never have had the Hulk in that era without him. But do we want to go back to that? No, we want a 9-foot tall Hulk and all that kind of stuff. But that show, I mean, I last year dug up a couple of episodes, and it is all that late 70s, early 80s cheesy.
Right.
But there's still some of it, man, every episode ending with, what's the name of the guy who played Banner again?
Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby. Walking, and always the same. Yeah. Walking down the road, hitchhiking again. Dun, 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 dun. That music moves me. Man, you remember they made the TV Hulk movie where the death of the Incredible Hulk? And he, falls out of the plane. And
They've got they had Daredevil, they had Thor.
But the Thor one is the gold standard of superhero things on TV. If you guys have ever seen the old Lou Ferrigno made-for-TV Hulk movie where he meets Thor, and the fight they have when they first meet in the lab is the greatest thing ever on TV.
Wow.
Greatest thing ever. And by the way, in the Daredevil one where Hulk meets Daredevil, you remember who was Kingpin?
Oh.
John Rhys Davies.
Right. That's right.
Gimli.
That's right.
Gimli, son of Gloin.
Wow.
And Sala from Indiana Jones.
That's right.
He played Kingpin.
I forgot about it. Man, I haven't seen that in ages. Wow. Nerdy Teacher, 1 of 4. I don't think my comments got sent in properly, so sorry if it's a repeat. Hey guys, I have a theory about the Obi-Wan show. Are you ready? Maybe. Everything that happens after Ben meditates in his cave in episode 1 is a Force vision sent by Qui-Gon to warn him, like, if you don't get back in shape, this is what will happen. At the end of episode 5, Ben will die and wake up back in his cave, and nothing we have seen from then would have happened. The Grand Inquisitor won't be dead. Leia wouldn't have been kidnapped, and Ben will have to stop everything that happens before it happens.
Next. I think there's one more. Yeah.
He probably won't even meet Vader. Just a theory, but it is weird to me that the break in canon of a series with the Grand Inquisitor but respect the Inquisitorius from Jedi Fallen Order. That's, by the way, that the I found out, was it yesterday in the Newton mailbag? It's called the Inquisitorius, where the in the water, that's their
their base of headquarters?
That's what it's called, the Inquisitorius, and which I did not know. And that's interesting. Now, I don't know if I buy this, but that's interesting, because then they're telegraphing, I mean, I don't know what if this happened. Let's go with this theory. If this happened, how would you feel about it? Like the old, it's just
torches
a dream
and
thing?
pitchforks. No. Now, okay, first of all, let's just to cover the Grand Inquisitor thing, of course. They have not necessarily broken canon. Number one, he may not be dead, but even if he's dead, who's to say that's the same Grand Inquisitor that we had in Rebels? It could have been they could get a new Grand Inquisitor, and something about the position, maybe they make them up to look a certain way, or they get somebody else of the same species takes over. Whatever. It's not necessarily because listen, the Grand Inquisitor in the animated thing, very slender, like very thin, his face, everything very thin. This Grand Inquisitor, not so much, right? They make him more, he's filled out more and all that kind of stuff. So it might not even be the same Grand Inquisitor. Okay, let's get to the theory itself. The it was all a dream thing? No.
Well, Force Vision.
Either way.
Qui-Gon walks out.
Either way. You're telling me, so I pointlessly watched 4 episodes of this when none of it was real and none of it had any real repercussions or anything. I watched 4 episodes just so Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon can say to Obi-Wan, hey, that's what could happen. Really? I will revolt. I will revolt. It would be the absolute dumbest, worst thing they could possibly do. I can't imagine many other things that would be worse.
Here's the thing. I think that there's a way it could be done in an interesting fashion if the next episodes 5 and 6 were somehow really good. Like this led somewhere, right?
4 episodes of a dream,
but it led somewhere. Well, episode 1 wouldn't really have been just the end. The whole
true. Episode 1 still stands on its own.
And like if you went back to sort of episode 1, and then you had 2 hours of kick-ass Star Wars, or maybe 7, 8, 9.
See, a 7, 8, 9, 10. See, I can buy an episode,
right,
where the episode starts, and then 35 minutes later we get near the end of the episode, and then they realize that was just something that happened in my Force Vision I had for the last 20 minutes. Not for 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Like that's where I draw the line as a fan.
I mean, there's only been 3. Like maybe if we woke up, but I like this idea that a Force Vision is, and because we've had Force Vision since Empire, and going into the cave in Dagobah.
Yep.
I mean, I liked that, and in that Luke Vader comes out.
Sure,
so it could be. I mean,
and that's a 5-minute sequence.
Yes,
that's fine. 5 minutes, I'm good. 4 episodes, no.
It's true. Although there's some, I think that it depends how it was done. I won't reject it entirely. I don't think it's going to happen. But Your Name sends in a tip and says, when Phantom Menace came out, I bought my toddler niece several golden books featuring a young Anakin. Was I a bad uncle giving her books about a would-be serial killer?
Yeah, and it gets even worse when you watch Obi-Wan, because he's walking around just snapping necks of innocent children. Just like, but I guess even in the prequels, though, he's slaughtering children.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
I mean, it was a fact.
Just
He
killing
didn't
them
know
all.
he was going to slaughter younglings in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, when you bought him the book, maybe
in Phantom
not.
Menace, he was just a precocious pod racer.
I was going to say something, but I'm not. Hitler jokes are never fun, but it's so never funny. So I'm just going to hold that one back to myself. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. He kind of grows up to be a mass genocidal maniac that destroys trillions of lives across the galaxy.
Yeah, I don't think the people of Alderaan would be happy that you bought those books. Hitchcock is the GOAT. How you doing, Hitchcock is the GOAT? Good to see you around these parts again. For me, I like this. For me, Attack of the Clones has always been 2 movies within one. The first, with Obi-Wan tracking Jango, I found terrific. Much better than The Phantom Menace. The second, with Padme and Anakin falling in love, was abysmal. And I can understand how people rank it, the prequels, worse. I got to tell you, bro, I'm a Attack of the Clones fan. Unapologetic. might not be the greatest movie in the world, but there's enough in Attack of the Clones, and for me, it's all redeemed by the Battle of Geonosis at the end. I love when all the Jedi ignite their lightsabers. I love the whole battle with what becomes a Trade Federation army or whatever. The Geonosian cockroaches that build the Death Star. I'm all in for that. I'm in. I love the sonic bomb that goes off. That
they did again in Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean, I in the Slave One. I mean, I think somebody needs to show us why Boba Fett decided to repaint the Slave One in different colors. I don't understand that, but whatever. But I like Attack of the Clones. I understand the love story. To me, it's mostly the dialogue, and the way they're directed. If you just change the dialogue and the performance, I would have bought into it. It just has. I think that the whole thing about sand and coarse and all that crap, it's not good.
It's one of the worst movies ever made. And you are right.
No love, not even a little.
No, not for this one. I mean, look,
cloners on Camino.
oh my God, how many times? If I had a nickel, every time Dex says cloners in that one conversation, you see, they're cloners. Yeah, I know, Dex. You already told me that twice. Yeah, but they're cloners. You see. Anyway. That aside, you are right. It is basically two different movies. There's the love story thing, and then there's the search for Camino. The problem is every step of the way in that search for Camino was so dumb. Because here's the thing: if you grab a map, they used to have physical maps, so we didn't always have the GPSs, right? But if you grab the map out of my glove compartment, and there's a town on the way between here and Vegas called Barstow, right? If you take an eraser and erase Barstow. Guess what? There are still a lot of people who remember Barstow. There's still a lot of people who remember Barstow and know that it was there and visited Barstow and know about it. They say, wait, it's a mystery because Barstow, Camino, was a part of the galactic community for millennia. But 20 years ago, somebody deleted it out of a map and nobody's ever heard of it now. It is one of the dumbest things.
Not only that, like if you were manufacturing an entire army for somebody.
You got supply chains.
Wouldn't you call them up and go, yo, we've been making this army for years. You guys ready to take a delivery yet?
Yeah, decades.
No one, there's only like one contact. They only have one contact number with Sifo Dyas. I mean, I still didn't even understand that.
No, it's
what's going on?
So bad.
That said,
whatever.
I find it entertaining.
I love that you love it. I love that you love it.
I don't love it, but I don't
love that
hate
you
it.
like it.
I don't hate it.
No, I love that you appreciate it.
I do. I mean, look, I think, you know what's cool about it? Cool new Star Wars vehicles.
Yeah.
I love the Jedi Starfighters. I love the fact that they have their hyperspeed, hyperspace rings
element, and they're just their close combat element.
I liked all that. I liked the beginning, the whole chase through the city, and the cool new B-1 bomber that lands. It comes through the clouds at the beginning. I mean, I probably shouldn't like it, but I mean,
you like what you like. That's all that matters.
What can I say?
All right, what's next?
The Axe of Zaslav. Hey, John and crew. In a world we hear. Wait. Hey, John and crew. In a world we hear every is scared of me. Laugh. I see.
The Axe of Zaslav.
The Axe. Okay. Hey, John and crew. In a world where everyone is scared of me, laugh out loud. I feel like this changing of the guard is the best Warner Brothers has had in a long time. Emmerich has made many mistakes, and so have others. Remember, it's not show friends. It's show business. That's what Bob Sugar said. Well, look, I think we're both optimistic about David Zaslav's reign. Call it at Warner Brothers. I think he's making some good moves, like you said today on the show. He's asking people what their advice is, which already is somebody. And
more importantly, the right people. He's asking the right people, and that's always the key. Is like everybody asks for people's advice. The difference between the successful people and unsuccessful people is that they ask the right people for advice. And that's what Zaslav seems to be doing. Listen, all the culling that they're doing at CW, they're trying to prep that thing, make it more financially attractive to sell it off. So that's what they're trying to do there. They're killing projects that they know don't have a valid possibility for success, trying to make room for ones that will have a greater chance of success, bringing new leadership in. I mean, listen, I have never been more optimistic than I am right now about, hey, listen, it may go all wrong. It may go completely wrong. But for now, I'm feeling pretty optimistic about everything.
Yeah, and also you can also look at Discovery itself as a track record, where he believes in talent. Yeah, he believes in his talent. think it's a good thing. Tony says, is Top Gun Maverick Oscar worthy? Good question. I believe it should be nominated for sound, original screenplay, cinematography, and editing. I believe some of those things it could happen. Cinematography and editing, certainly. Sound, absolutely. I don't know about original screenplay, but not bad. I used to think The Batman would win these, but so far Top Gun is my pick. What do you think? Well, I would say you're right about sound, screenplay, maybe not, but editorial, of course. What do you think, John?
Sound nomination, yes. Better than The Batman? No. Cinematography, yes. They did a lot of very creative things from a cinematography point of view in this.
Yeah.
I would definitely give it a nod for that. Screenplay? Remember, I love this movie. Hell no.
Right.
Hell no. Okay, what's the story? Well, we're going to go do this thing against the enemy. Who's the enemy? We don't know. They're just the enemy.
Either Iran or North Korea, but we're not going to tell you.
And then Goose's son's going to go out. How does he discover he's Goose's son? Well, he looks, dresses, and sounds just like him. Okay, but he doesn't have the same mustache. Oh, yeah, he's got the same mustache.
Plays
too.
the same song on the piano.
And plays the one song he knows is the same one his dad played 36 years ago. Look, I love Top Gun Maverick. I've been singing its praises for weeks. Love this movie. Best screenplay? Not on your life. No way.
You know, and I would say, even though the cinematography is amazing,
Breathtaking.
it's breathtaking, but it also is very much set in the real world.
Yeah.
Whereas this lighting scheme and some of the things they do in the Batman from a film production standpoint is extraordinary.
It's absolutely. But you told me once, and I agree, that the thing about cinematography is, how do you basically? I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it's basically like it's knowing how to bring the most out of the story you're telling,
Yes.
right? And so while the cinematography in the Batman is certainly very, very different from the cinematography in like Top Gun Maverick, the cinematography in Top Gun Maverick is so perfect for the story they're telling.
Yes.
Much like it was for the Batman as well. But I mean, they both do such a great job of accentuating the worlds that they are in and the action that is happening within them. They're both exceptional. I can see them both getting nominated.
Absolutely. 100%. D plus Star Wars fan says, hi, hi, John and Rob. This past Obi episode.
Oh, he probably means Disney Plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that
yeah,
D plus.
I was just thinking it's
barely
D+.
passing grade Star Wars
was
fan.
pretty funny. And Disney Plus Star Wars fan. Hi, John and Rob. This past Obi episode was my favorite hour of Star Wars Disney Plus content. For me personally, the 6-episode miniseries format suits me perfectly, but I could see why you guys like more episodes. So far, Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars Disney Plus content. Bring on the filthy. Well, first of all, I think it's great that you're digging it. I mean, look, my whole thing about all this stuff with 6 episodes, we're getting so much great television that usually now is running 10 episodes. Game of Thrones had 10-episode seasons until the last.
Till the end there, yeah.
And then, episodes of whether it's Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. I like the extra time they take to get more in-depth into the characters and tell a bigger, more sprawling story. And that's what I would want. I certainly wanted more out of Moon Knight. That was another Disney Plus show. Too short for me. I wanted to see more of it. But what do you think? I mean, we both talk about how we want longer seasons.
Here's the problem. There's a Bible verse or something along the lines of this: be hot or be cold. If you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. Be great movie length or great television series length. This in-between 6-episode thing does not work, because what happens is you're either filling it with fluff of what could have been a kick-ass tight 2 hour and 20 minute movie.
Right.
Or you're severely rushing through what could have been a great 9, 10, 11, 12 episodes of television. This 6-episode thing does not work. That doesn't mean you can't have great moments in it. Absolutely you can. Look, so far, not a big fan of episode 2, but so far I am really enjoying Obi-Wan. The first episode was one of the best things I've seen on Disney Plus. The third episode was a rebound after episode 2. I'm really liking it myself too, but this 6-episode thing, it has not worked for me in any of the Marvel stuff that they've done so far. You can just look, we said it the other day. in 5 days, we went halfway through the season.
Right.
The season's half over. And I don't know. It doesn't seem to work for me.
No, I'm with you. I mean, also, I guess I want a bigger story. Like, we're 3 episodes in, and I wanted something a little larger in scope. I'm liking the show. I really like the first episode. I thought it was really interesting. I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. But I wanted the show to be just bigger and more sprawling, and you need more time for it to unfold. Like, just more plot, more interesting characters, more interesting places. But that doesn't mean that the next 3 episodes aren't going to be bangers.
Yeah. So let's see what they do. Like, we're only halfway through. We're not passing judgment on a show that's only halfway through.
Yeah.
Let's just see. I'm just saying, up till now, the track record we've had is the 6 episode thing doesn't work for me.
Yeah, because I mean, if these 3 episodes knock it out of the park, 1, 2, 3 could be.
Yeah.
amazing.
Let's see what it does.
Yeah.
Let's see what it does.
So that's it. Well, we're already over. This has been so much fun. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings, kind souls, wherever you identify across the 28 known galaxies, this is the end of the John Campea Show mailbag for Thursday, June 2nd.
Yes, it is.
I want to thank all of you out there for sending us, well, great ideas and great things and great thoughts and your inspiring stories and questions about Obi-Wan. Whatever you want to send it to us because it's great and you give us great things to talk about. So thank you very much. I want to thank my illustrious co-host, Mr. John Campea here, who graciously allows me to take point on these mailbags.
You do well. I like
well?
this. I kind of love that. I just got to sit back and answer the questions you throw at me. I kind of like this.
Kind of
Nice.
nerve-wracking, to be honest. I feel like I can't live up to, he's been doing this a lot longer than I have, and I never quite remember what to say. But so thank you all. We will be back with another mailbag probably tomorrow.
Yeah, probably tomorrow. Yep.
And again, if you want to send us a question or a comment, right down there in the link, you can see it. And please do. Our operators are standing by 24/7.
Yeah, you can, or go there manually. You can put it in yourself at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. And again, as Rob said earlier, we will answer those comments and questions on Mailbag if we deem your question appropriate. If for some of you said something, you probably noticed that maybe yours didn't make it in there. That might have had something to do with asking like major spoiler stuff for current movies or whatever have you. But we will get to almost all of them that get sent in. So thank you guys for sending that stuff in.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. And as always, well, I was about to say, I can't say bye-bye because that's what you say.
Well, you can say it if you want.
Why don't you take us out?
All right. Thanks for being here, guys. Talk to you next time. Bye-bye.